YTPC Padre coming to you via the virtual airways of YouTube to say, well, hello there. How are you out there in the wonderful world of YouTube? Me, I'm okay, thank you. I appreciate you asking. Hey, let's chat for a little bit today. I want to first talk a little bit about, all the cool kids ordered this and got it, and mine came in today. It's an annual summer offering for the past few years from Cornell and Deal. It's a little something they call Sun Bear. I literally just got mine in the mail, opened it up, pulled it out, and let me offer some commentary. I'm not gonna comment on this specific product for a simple reason. I haven't had it yet, right? But I have had the past 2 years offerings of what C&D calls their small batch Sun Bear, and it's good. I don't know what else to say, but I have been one of the ones that has been, I guess, critical, somewhat facetiously critical of C&D and others for what they do, because they do a lot of manipulating of consumers through marketing, which, quite honestly, I guess at the end of the day, that is what marketing's purpose is, and nobody does it better than Cornell and Deal with their small batch, right? You create a sense of urgency that something is there but rare, and everybody's got to get a little piece of it. So they've done that with multiple small batches. Many of their small batches, quite frankly, are good. Some of them not good. But listen, that's just me. That's my opinion. So what I'm thinking is good or not good, you may be on the opposite end of the spectrum on both those and say, you're crazy, Padre. That one you said was good was absolutely crap, and the one you said was not good was fantastic. So whatever. Here we go. If I'm not mistaken, this is year number 3. Back in 2020, they did Sun Bear. Back in 2019, they did Sun Bear. The difference in Sun Bear 2021 is it is marketed as Black Locust. All right, let's do a little bit of comparison. Now, this comes, I don't know where this comes from. One of the websites that sells this stuff, I suspect they got it right from C&D. I'm going to read just a little bit just to give you an idea of how they tout it, right? A blend of the finest bright and red Virginias balanced by 2014 Bosma and 2013 Izmir Orientals. C&D's Sun Bear Black Locust commends itself with subtle notes of raw, ethically sourced, single farm honey from the 2020 Black Locust pollination in Maryland. A variety prized for its small yields, extremely light color, and delicate sweetness, combined with a whisper of Silva tequila and elderflower. The natural Black Locust honey complements these specially selected varietal tobaccos, elevating their fruity and floral notes for a bright, refreshing character and a creamy, round finish. That would be the C&D Sun Bear Black Locust edition, all right? How is that different? Well, let's read the past years. A blend of the finest red and bright Virginias balanced by Bosmer Leaf from 2014 and Izmir Orientals from 2013. Nothing sounds all that different just yet. Sun Bear showcases select varietals from highlighting their inherent characters with a range of unique and nuanced casings. South Carolina garden-grown honey. Harvested, easy for me to say, from the personal beehives of C&D's head blender, Jeremy Reeves, combines with a whisper of Silva tequila and elderflower to augment a fruity and floral notes of the choice Orientals and Virginias. The result is a natural refined tobacco with bright, refreshing character and a creamy, rounded finish, the perfect complement of these final days of summer. So I think, what are we reading here? What's the difference? It's the honey, right? Jeremy couldn't get honey from South Carolina from his own beehives this year. Who knows why? Or Jeremy bought some property in Maryland, has got some beehives over there. Who knows? But I guarantee you there's some folks out there who bought this stuff because, ooh, black locust honey. Whatever. Congratulations to C&D for cornering the marketing world for pipe tobacco. You do good. And listen, I have to say, I have not been disappointed by Sun Bear. Is it good? Yeah, it's good. Is it great? Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna cry when I'm out of it. I like it. I like it. I suspect I'm going to like the Black Locust edition of this too. Will it be any different? I don't know. I don't know. Until I try it, I'm not going to know that. Maybe I'll make a video review of that. I just get a kick out of all of this small batch stuff. I know summer before last, so I guess that was 2019. Sergeant Savinelli, he came to town. He and I got together along with Mark VV. We all went out to dinner and we had opportunity to fellowship and enjoy some pipe smoking and such. And I gifted him that year one of those tins of Sun Bear. And I remember when he did Padre and Pals with me, he told me at that time that that's what got him hooked on the Virginias, that it was that Sun Bear. He liked it. He thoroughly enjoyed it. So good stuff. Pardon my cough. It's not the COVID. It's the allergies. But let's talk about that dreaded C word for a moment. I got kind of a kick out of this. Back in 2019-2020, BRTV was around. Mark VV and I did a series. We did several series for BRTV. One of the ones we did was the Boswell English Sampler, right? And I had those old videos, and BRTV's not there anymore, so I didn't want them to get lost. They're okay. If you want to watch them, they're on my channel now. So I moved them over to YTPC past couple of months, right? And I was watching, I guess it was the last one, the last episode, I think it was the last episode of the series. And it was recorded in the early part of March of 2020, back when everything was just really kind of pretty new to us about the pandemic and such. And I'd made some comments that, well, let's just say by the time I had that video ready to be posted on BRTV, they were beyond obsolete. The stats might have been right at the time that I said them. My commentary about them could not have ended up being further from the truth. And so I ended up having to put like this blob across the screen saying, hey, this was recorded on March 11th, not posted until March 20th. And a lot has changed since then, and boy, had it. We can all play armchair epidemiologist and armchair social scientist and public health expert and all kinds of other things. But we don't know what we don't know. And here we are, July of 2021, and the pandemic is still making news. And the biggest part of that happens to be what they're now calling this Delta variant. What I thought would be fun is I'm going to read you a few headlines. And I'm doing this just because it's topical at the moment, but also when I check back on this video a year from now, we're going to see how bad off these headlines are compared to the reality of where we are then. I'm hoping a year from now, we're not going to be talking about this thing. But who knows? And I've got a cough again. Hold on. I promise you, it's just a tickle in the throat. All right, here's one of the headlines that said life expectancy drops. Life expectancy in this good old United States of America actually dropped by 1.5 years in 2021, a full 18 months across the entire population. That's according to the Centers for Disease Control. And the fall, they say, is the largest one-year drop in life expectancy since World War II. Now, it would make sense. We kind of understand why in World War II there might have been a little blip on the radar dropping in life expectancy, particularly with the amount of young men that we were losing during wartime efforts and such. But this year, this past year, 2020, the U.S. life expectancy settled at 77.3 years, and they're attributing this 18-month loss to deaths from COVID-19 as well as deaths from drug overdoses in 2020. Here's one of the things that sort of, you slice up all this data that kind of caught my attention. Hispanic Americans ended up having the largest drop when they, divide up the pie by demographics and such. They saw a decrease of 3 years down to 78.8 years. And they estimate that 90% of that decrease is due to COVID-19. And this was followed by Black Americans with a decrease of almost 3 years, 2.9 years to 71.8 years, 59% of that being caused by COVID. For white Americans, life expectancy fell a little over a year, 1.2 years to 77.6 years, 68% of that attributable to COVID-19. Okay, but here's what this is something I did not know. And if I were on a quiz show and I was given these answers, I probably would have got this question wrong. In 2020, right? Now this is after everybody's had their declines, 3 full years for Hispanic Americans, they still settled in at 78.8 years, which is significantly higher than African Americans and white Americans. A lot higher, in fact, than African Americans, who after their almost 3-year loss in 2020 got down to 71.8. 78.8, 71.8, that means on average in 2020, Hispanic Americans outlived Black Americans on average by 7 years. That is a crazy statistic, I think. And white Americans, kind of in the middle there, although 77.6 years, certainly closer to Hispanic Americans. So Hispanic Americans live longer than white Americans and Black Americans, according to this. Anyway, I find that interesting, particularly as it, as it relates to what we're seeing with the pandemic and everything. Another one of the headlines has to do with COVID in the Capitol. Catch this, a senior aide to Speaker Nancy Pelosi, as well as an unnamed White House staffer, both tested positive for COVID-19. According to reports earlier this week. And these infections for these two particular high-ranking officials, again, a senior aide to the Speaker, a White House staffer, those two infections apparently are linked to who? To the delegation of Texas lawmakers from the Democratic Party who fled their state to go to Washington, D.C. There was about 60 of them. You probably saw their selfie was making a round on social media. There was about 60 of them. Six of them, that's 10%, tested positive. Now, my understanding is they all claim to have been vaccinated. So what does that tell us? It tells us that either A, they're lying, or B, there's breakthrough, that folks who are vaccinated are having this disease breakthrough. Now, where's the truth? Probably lies in the middle, both. Probably some who lie. Why would I be so bold as to say that? They're politicians. Of course they lie. And we do know that with any inoculation, it's not a full inoculation. These vaccinations really just help your immune system better fight this thing when it comes about. And it's possible that you can have breakthrough. In fact, anybody who's ever done any kind of study in a virology, what you're going to find out, if you can get 100% of the population vaccinated, you can still have breakthroughs. In fact, the higher the percent of the population that gets vaccinated, the higher the percentage of breakthrough. Why? Because more people are vaccinated. Therefore, there's more people who potentially can have breakthrough of the disease. It's never never 100%. What you're hoping to get is that a whole bunch of people don't get sick, and that if you do have some breakthroughs, that it's not nearly as intense or severe. So, but anyway, interesting stories. The White House said on Thursday, unvaccinated individuals, quote, should be more fearful. And they were also questioned about going back to masks mandates. Now, I want to give a quote because I found it kind of funny. A guy by the name of Bill de Blasio, you've probably heard of him. He's a governor. And he said something that I thought was kind of smart, which is kind of an uncommon thing from people who are elected officials of government. He said, he was comparing mask mandates to vaccinations. He said a mask is like a pea shooter and a vaccine is like a cannon. And he's referring to it in terms of protection. And I think he's right about that. You know, I think to go back to these mask mandates where we never even had the science to say that the masks actually did anything of any real help. I think they did create kind of a barrier, reminded people to maybe keep their distance and such, but I don't think anything is as protective as the vaccine. And I know there's people out there who will watch me right now that disagree with that. They don't have the vaccine. They don't have plans to get the vaccine. And to you, my brothers and sisters, if particularly if you're Americans, I say, God bless you. That's your choice. You're in America. I chose to get the vaccine. I don't regret doing that. And I just feel a whole lot more at ease knowing that I've got some protection against that. I have not grown a third head from it. I've not had any kind of severe reactions to it. The truth be told, when I got the first one, I had nothing. I was wondering what they even put in there. Maybe it was saline. Got bold and boasted because people said, oh, my arm hurt. My arm didn't even hurt. Got the second one. Not only did my arm hurt, I felt like crap for 3 days. I was in bed. It made me sick. And I think that's a small price to pay. I didn't go on a ventilator, right? You know, and honestly, I didn't even have, it's not like I got sick I just got sick feeling like my body was fighting something. And that's the way it works. And that's okay. I get it. There are some who might judge me for having gotten the vaccine. Frankly, I don't care. If I didn't get the vaccine, there are some who might judge me. I don't care about you either. You know, that's just the nature of the world that we live in. There are people who judge me for being a Christian. I don't care. There are Christians who judge me for being a priest. I also don't care. This is my life, folks, okay? I'm going to make responsible choices for me. You need to do the same for yourself. There was a news story recently around here. One of our, the whip of the House is from Louisiana, Steve Scalise. Apparently he didn't get the vaccine until very recently, like over the weekend or something, I believe. And they made a big story about it that, he changed his mind on it. It's like, don't care. That's great. He changed his mind. That's his personal decision. Is that going to cause some people to maybe change their mind and get vaccinated? Maybe. And that's okay. That's fine. But let me tell you a little secret to life. Don't look to your politicians for advice about your health. That's what your doctor is for, right? Have that discussion with the appropriate professionals. Don't rely on the media. Don't rely on the news. Don't rely on your politicians. Go to a trained professional. You're not going to call the Speaker of the House about your plumbing issue, right? You're not going to call the whip of the House about your electrical issue. So don't turn to them for advice on health care. Make that between you and your doctor and what you think is best for you. The other news, I guess, surrounding that is now saying, oh, look at all these young people who are getting sick with this Delta variant. Why would we be surprised by that? Look at these stats that I pulled off the Mayo Clinic today. 75 years and older in our country, almost 90%. Almost 90%, 87% of 75 and older in America have taken the vaccine in some form or fashion, right? So guess who's going to not be getting sick at the same level as people in younger categories, right? I mean, it just makes sense. What does a virus do? It tries to jump to whoever it can get into. And if you're looking at this by ages, and 75-year-olds and above, 90% of them have an inoculation, virus is not going to have much chance to spread among them. Age bracket 65 to 74, 91% have received at least one dose. 50 to 64, 3/4, 75.2% have received at least one dose. Who's not been getting well, remember, we didn't even let teens 12 to 20 or something get vaccinated up until a couple months ago. And then younger than that, I still don't think they're giving them the vaccines. And, and if it's not appropriate for their age and their bodies, that's good. That's the way we need to keep it. But so it shouldn't be surprising to anybody that younger people are representing a larger portion of the population of people getting sick when they are the largest portion of the population not receiving the vaccine. Some of this stuff is just common sense, and the news, media, and the politicians who have their own agenda all want to present this in a way that just scares the crap out of you, because for the news, at least, that's how they get their ratings. For the politicians, it's how they get their attention, right? And it's how they get what they want. Folks, make an informed decision for yourself. That's my advice to you. Don't judge others who have made a decision that you don't personally think is right for you. That's okay too. I would say if you haven't gotten the vaccine and you don't have a good medical reason not to have gotten the vaccine, like I know some people who their doctors have told them you can't have it right now. I know somebody who was on a large amount of steroids, was titrating down from that for a disorder. And the doctor's like, now is not a good time for you to take in this inoculation. And so that makes perfectly good sense. But if you got no reason not to, I don't know. Again, it's your choice. You do what you like. I'm not going to judge you for it, but here we are. And again, these are just some fun headlines. I'm tossing them out there, and we'll see where we are in a year. If you want to see what I'm talking about from March of 2020 when I mouthed off, go watch that video. I think it's the last episode of the Boswell Sampler. I don't remember. It's either the last or the second to last, I guess. And boy, I was off. I mean, I was well off. And hey, that's the fun of this life we're in. Most of it's pretty unpredictable. And here we are anyway. So listen, I've been rambling long enough with my news headlines and my talk about Sun Bear. I'll get back to you on this after I've had a chance to try it. I can't wait to get out onto the YTPC. I'm sure there's some people who have already uploaded some videos about the 2021 edition of the Black Locust Sun Bear, and we'll see what they think on it and see how good it is. So that's it for me for the moment. Padre signing off and wishing you and yours God's peace, grace, and blessings.